Progress.
Welcome back. I apologize for having to stop and start. It's a bit inconvenient. So just waiting for Eri to join again. So we were talking about, I know it's terrible, but yeah, it's not necessarily a, so Kate says it is terrible, so she knows that it's terrible, and even though it's terrible, she sleeps on the bed, so it's still they're both negative things, and it's more like it is a fact that it is terrible. I know this, and despite that, even though I know that it's terrible, I still, or she still likes to sleep in my bed. So it's it acknowledges or confirms fact A, but then adds something that doesn't match with that. Sort of like it's harder to explain than I thought it would be. But the does is important there. It's not necessary, but it emphasizes that the two things don't match. So this is not positive and negative, it is a situation or a fact and something which doesn't match. Okay. So for example, I could say I have lived in Japan for 1.5 years, but I haven't been negative, but I don't like, you need to say don't. I've never been overseas, but I do like Chinese food. I've never been to China, but I do like Chinese food. Or little bit racist maybe, I don't like Chinese people, but I do like Chinese food. So it's not so much a positive and negative, it's about the expectations not matching. And using do as an emphasizing verb, right? Yeah, it makes that more clear that they don't match. Yeah.
So I like Italy, but I do not like pizza or spaghetti, something like that.
Yes, that's the same. Of course, what the problem with that though is that when you make a negative in English, you have to say don't or do not.
Yeah.
But with the positive, you don't usually need the word do. You just have the verb. I like, I eat. Yeah? So I do like, I do eat, I do want emphasizes that in contrast to something that you don't like or don't want, etc.
So then opposite, I don't like Italy, but I do like pasta.
Yes.
Yeah.
Good. Yeah. I not many examples come to mind. I do.
I don't like cats, but I do like cat cafe.
Cat what?
Cat cafe?
Cat campaign?
No, cat cafe. Cat cafe.
Oh, cat cafe.
Something like that. I don't like cats, but I do like cat cafe.
Okay. Yeah. So that's it's that sort of thing. Yeah. The last difference though is that in that sentence, she's not saying something she does like and something she doesn't like. She's saying one situation, and because of that situation or because of that fact, you might expect something else to be true. But then she says something which does not match that expectation. So it's not, I don't like my dog, but she sleeps in my bed. It is terrible that she sleeps in my bed, but she does sleep in my bed. So it's like it is true even though it's not good. Because it's not good, you expect not to be true. So it works for all of the examples that we've had. But the one what the Kate says is a bit different because it's not I like this and I don't like that. It's
yeah,
and there's something that doesn't match. If you still have any questions about that, we can next time. Okay, we can talk about that next time because I still want to do a couple of other things. So the next phrase we have is at the start when Kate starts speaking. She says, I was lucky enough to work together with James. Have you heard I was lucky enough or we are lucky enough before?
I was lucky enough.
So what does it mean? Let's start with that. What does it mean when Kate says, I was lucky enough to work together with James? So is she happy that she worked together with me? Yeah. Was it a choice that she made?
I don't think so.
No? What do you think, Takashi-san? Do you think it was a choice of Kate's to work with me? Choice. Did she, what choice is choose, to choose, right? Erabu or meru, right? So was it her decision? Did she want to work with me and that's why we worked together?
Work together. I don't think work together. I first need to teach Japanese. Work together.
So Kate and I worked at the same school. Yeah.
Same school, Blackmore High School で。
Now, we didn't teach the same subjects. I taught German and she taught, well, English and history. She used to teach Japanese many years ago, but not when I was there. But we worked together because we were at the same school, we shared an office, we were colleagues. Right? She says, I was lucky enough to work together. So, luck, yeah? So, it wasn't a choice to work together. We didn't decide that we wanted to go to the same school. We didn't decide that we wanted to share an office or anything. It had nothing to do with us. It just happened like that. And it was luck, right? Fate, right? Perhaps. So we say, I was lucky enough to do something. Yeah? When you feel that something was really good, you're happy about it, but it wasn't your choice, right? So maybe I was lucky enough to meet the Australian Prime Minister. So it wasn't necessarily your choice. It's more about, yeah, a luck, I suppose. But you feel really good about it, and you feel maybe you could say, I suppose it doesn't have to. Maybe it doesn't have to have that meaning. For another example, okay, another example would be in a meeting or at a conference, right? At a big conference, the person who is hosting the conference, okay, the host might say to everyone, today we are lucky enough to have Takahashi-san to come and speak to us. So, so Takahashi-san is a really amazing, famous person in the field that field for that conference. So pharmacy, maybe. And there's a pharmacy conference, and they've all come, and the speaker at the start says, we are lucky enough today to have Mr. Takahashi to come and speak to us, okay? So we feel honored, right? We feel blessed to have this opportunity, okay? So, but it's very common to use that. For example, people might say, I was lucky enough to live in Italy for 3 years. Or I was lucky enough to meet so-and-so for 2 years. Or have the opportunity to play soccer with Honda Senshu, right? So anyway, that's a very common phrase that you might hear, and something that you could use when you do your self-introductions. If there's something that you feel really, you were really lucky to do, and that's a good way to phrase it. Okay, I was lucky enough to work together with James at Blackburn High School. Okay. Now, before we go to a Kahoot quiz, before we do that, are there any more questions about this text? Any words or phrases that you're not sure about, or grammar that doesn't make sense? Okay. All right. Okay, so now we haven't used Kahoot before, have you? I think so. I'll have to share my screen. Yes, how do I do this? Oh, set my volume down. Where's share screen? Is that it? Okay. So, on your Kahoot app, let's open it up here. You need to push down the bottom, pin,入力. Okay. And then put in. Can you see the numbers at the top of the screen on the computer?
Yep.
4412885. Good. Okay. 4412885. Okay. Oops. All right. So what's going to happen is the questions will come up on your computer screen. Okay? And each answer has a color. So there's a blue answer, a red answer, a green answer, and a yellow answer. And you need to push the button of that color on the screen. Okay? Yes? Okay. Let's move that. Okay. So questions about Australia. What is the capital city of Australia? Canberra, yes. Canberra is the capital city. Good. I'm glad you both got that. Because we talked about that in the lesson we had a little while ago. All right. And very good. Okay. Next one. What is the population of Australia? How many people? Right? Approximately. Okay.
How many?
Yes, 25 million. Okay. So there are about 26 million, I think. In fact, if I look it up, we can say Australia population is currently, that didn't work. Oh, there it is. 25.8 million people at the moment. Okay. All right. Next one. Which is not a state or territory of Australia? There are 8 states and territories in Australia. One of these here does not exist. Eastern Territory, okay. So Western Australia is the biggest state. It is probably close to a quarter, maybe more than a quarter of the entire area of Australia, the West state. South Australia in the middle, down the bottom, between Western Australia and Victoria, and Northern Territory. Well, that's in the middle up the top. So South Australia and Northern Territory, what can you say, on top of each other, so to speak.
So west and past is in Western Australia, isn't it?
Yes.
And
Yes.
then Adelaide is in South Australia.
Mm-hmm.
And
Northern Territory.
Darwin.
Darwin. Good. Okay. So yeah, that's a lot of the Aboriginal people live in Northern Territory, and in Central Australia, which is not a state but an area, which is in a lot of those in either Northern Territory or South Australia, where Uluru is, for example, Ayers Rock.
Yeah.
Okay, so Eastern Territory does not exist. Aries on fire. Doing better than Sensei, though. Okay. Australia has the world's largest herd of wild camels. Okay. There are more camels in Australia than any other country. Is that true? Ooh. It is true. It's true. There are a lot of camels in Australia. They were imported from other countries, the Middle East. But now there are more in Australia than where the camels actually came from. So there's a lot. All right. Kangaroo meat. It is illegal to eat kangaroo meat. You cannot eat kangaroo meat. You will go to jail. You will go to prison. Is that true? Okay. So, yeah, you are allowed to eat kangaroo meat. In fact, it's quite common. I have only eaten it once or twice in my life, and I don't particularly like it, but you can get kangaroo meat at restaurants, even in the supermarket. I remember I went and bought some kangaroo meat sausages once.
Yeah.
How tasty is kangaroo meat? Like beef or
question.
It's a bit smelly.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, I think you want to put more like ginger or garlic to kill the taste.
Yeah, it was a little bit different, maybe a little bit tough, difficult to eat. But it is common. And other meats like emu and crocodile, you can eat those things. Not only do people who live in the outback probably kill and eat those animals, but you can get it at some restaurants. Not so common, but you definitely can eat it. Not that I ever have had emu or crocodile, but yeah. Okay, wombat poo is cubic, right? It is like a square. Wombat poo is a square, a cube. Is that true? Yes. All right. So wombat poo. I don't know if you want to have a look at that picture or not, but let's have a look anyway. Wombat poo. Hey. There's a square. Cubic. So there you go. And I'm not sure why that is. It must be to do with the shape of their bowel and intestines or something. But Takahashi, Son is a science expert, he might know. But I don't know.
Square.
Okay. So, the largest Greek population outside Greece and Cyprus, right? Cyprus is Kypros, is in Melbourne. So, apart from Greece and Cyprus, the largest number of Greek people in the world live in Melbourne. True. Yes. There are many, many Greek people in Melbourne. Lots and lots of Greek restaurants, and lots of Greek food in the supermarkets. There's lots of people from all sorts of countries and cultures in not just Melbourne, but in Australia, very multicultural. But Greek is, well, probably the largest in Melbourne. Right. Quite a few Japanese people too, so, recently, yeah. Okay. Next one. A kangaroo is 2 centimeters long when it is born. A baby kangaroo, 2 centimeters.
A tiny bit like this.
I can't see your camera there. Yes. Yeah, 2 centimeters. Yep. Yes, it is true. It is true. It's hard to imagine because they get so big and strong.
Yeah.
But that's one of the reasons why they live in the pouch, yeah, on the front of their parent, because they're so small and vulnerable, they can be hurt easily. So they live in the pouch until they are big enough to run around for themselves. Okay.
How tall is
Oh, sorry.
Sorry.
I'll answer that question in a moment. Australia was the first country to allow women to vote. Okay. So voting in the election. Australia, first country. Yes, that is false. So, do you know what? Which country was the first?
Which?
America.
No.
Oh. England.
No.
Oh.
But it is an English-speaking country.
New Zealand.
Yes.
So.
New Zealand. Let's have a look. New Zealand.
Wombat.
It was 18 something, maybe 1893.
Oh.
128 years ago. Australia. 1902. So that is just 1 year after Australia was first formed. Australia was formed in 1901 on the 1st of January. And so 1 year after that, they allowed women to vote. So at least that's quick, even if it's not the first. Japan, let's have a look at Japan. 1947.
Wow.
So after the Second World War, women finally had the right to vote. There are some countries that still don't allow it. Okay, so next question. Oh, sorry, Takahashi-san, you had a question before. What was that?
How tall is an adult kangaroo?
I'd say, I mean, they can be taller than taller than people. I don't know without looking it up. I'm not very knowledgeable about these things. Kangaroo height depends on the type of kangaroo. There are many different types of kangaroo, but it says here, for example, 2.1 meters tall.
Wow.
Okay, so that's one type of. Oh no, hang on. That's the largest one. That's the red kangaroo. So that's one of the types of kangaroo. I'd say they are between around 1.5 meters, maybe. A large male can be 2 meters tall, it says, and weigh 90
kilograms. Wow.
kilograms. And the smallest, the black wallaroo, this one, 13 kilograms for females. So there's a large variety of kangaroos and a big difference in their size. But the biggest ones are bigger and heavier and stronger than people. So you don't want to get in a boxing match with kangaroos, okay? Okay, 2 more questions.
Yes.
Every year in Brisbane, the World Cockroach Racing Championships are held.
Cockroach racing.
Yeah.
Particularly racing.
It is true. It is true. Let's see if we can have a look. Can you see this video?
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
Can you see that?
Yeah, I can see that.
Okay, let's have a look here.
Marching.
Let's see the cockroaches. Here they go.
Oh wow.
Wow, wow. Wow.
All right. Well, I'm not entirely sure what the how it works. Not sure who wins, but that's what it looks like. Okay, last question, and then we have to go, I think. How long does it take to drive across Australia? Does it take nearly 2 weeks to drive from Eastern Australia to the west?
2 weeks.
It's a big country.
2 weeks.
Okay, it is false. It does not take that long. It takes maybe about a week. Depends how many hours you drive a day, but you could probably get across in 5 days.
5 days.
Okay. Well done. You both did far better than me. Okay. How do I do that? Turn that off. Okay. All right. So, what did you think about the quiz? Did you enjoy doing that?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Because I can do more of that online and in class. Could be just things like that, cultural things, and it can also be language. Maybe if we're learning vocabulary or grammar. Okay. So we do have to end, I think. Do you have any questions or any comments about today's class at all?
No.
No? That's okay. That's okay. If you have any comments, any questions, any feedback, okay, let me know what you thought about the class. You can tell Sembu-san or you can tell me. I'll put my email address in chat and you can send me a message if you want to. Yeah, a little bit tricky doing it online, so thank you for bearing with me today. It was a little bit tricky for me too. It will be better in the class, but thank you very much for being here today and taking the class with me. Yeah, I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you.